E-ink smartphones are not the norm just yet. In the past, there have been devices like the Yotaphone and like this Hisense A6 that has effectively is a regular smartphone on the front, but has an e-ink panel on the back. Recently, we have been seeing some devices that are just e-ink, like this, the Hisense A5. This one does not have or feature any sort of LCD LED smartphone of any kind. It is e-ink through and through. So today in this Faceoff Friday video, we are just going to show you the differences between the A5 and the A6. So starting on the A5, this one is just what you see here. You swipe up to unlock, and it is just a e-ink smartphone, and you don't get any sort of proprietary stuff on here in terms of like the Yotaphone, for example. The Yotaphone kind of locked you into these panels and slides that you had to do certain things to get out of. This one will be 100% e-ink, and in case you're getting these confused, this one doesn't have the screen at the back. It does have a glow light, of course, so you can turn on the glow light, and this is very, very crucial, because if it didn't have a glow light, you would only be able to use this phone, which is meant for communication and various things like apps and games and reading and whatnot. You would only be able to use this phone when there's light, or when you have light emitting. If there was no backlight on here, or front light I should say, it wouldn't be all that useful. You do still get all the same functionality as you would get on pretty much any device. You can see here that we're on the Amazon Kindle app. You can long press, everything's fairly quick. You can start typing a note. Hello, there's haptic feedback and everything because this thing does have a vibrating sensor on the inside, and it is, for all intents and purposes, a fully fledged smartphone. On the inside, it is a smartphone. It's just that the only panel that they give you to see out of is just so happens to be an e-ink panel. You can look at gallery images as well, all the same. This does have a camera on it, so you are able to do pinch and zooms and stuff like that. Now, it is very important to note what you're seeing here is massive refreshing, and this is because there's actually two modes. There's smart mode and clear mode. If you turn it to the speed mode, which is smart mode, you'll see everything's very quick, but the screen has a lot of staining, has a lot of ghosting, and it just doesn't overall look that great. But it does give you the ability to watch videos. And that's actually quite nice that they actually allow you to do that. And you'll see here that we do have the ability to run a camera. However, if you're thinking you can run the camera in clear mode, which is the full quality mode, you actually can't. They won't let you select into it, because if you were on the full resolution mode, there'd be no way to run a camera this smooth while functioning properly. So that's basically why they have those two modes on here. But this thing is, for all intents and purposes, a fully fledged smartphone. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking at the A6 as your go-to, your first impression is going to be, well, it is just a smartphone, because it's true, it is. It's a full LCD LED smartphone, first and foremost. This thing isn't meant to be an e-ink only phone, because it does have applications, games, its own proprietary app store. It has messaging services, of course, because it is a multimedia color smartphone first and foremost. Then what they do is they actually add this secondary button, and if you turn the device over and press the e-ink button, then you get the e-ink side of things. Now with this device, you do get these proprietary panels that it looks like at first glance, well, I'm not going to get my Android experience out of this because I'm stuck in these panels. You do have switch to Android, and when you click on that, there you go. Now we're in our full Android experience. We get all the same applications and everything we would have gotten on the other side. It's just not in color. And you do have all your settings and the ability to go through and install APKs and play games and use your camera all the same. You can see we're using the front camera, shooting at our 4K camera right there. I just bumped it. So this is the I guess the back camera, you can call it, or the front camera, and you can swap that around, and you do have the, well, it's hard to say, okay, the back camera, the other camera. There's two cameras, and it depends on what subjectively you decide is the front. For example, we think this is the front for us because we are Good e-reader and we focus on eInk, and it says Hisense on it. The other side doesn't. I'm just kidding. It is the back of the phone. So they have the camera app that works very well, and you can slide this down and get all your settings like you would on pretty much any device. You see you have all your hotkeys, your Wi-Fi, your data, your super hotspot. They have the same things that the A5 did at the bottom. So when you tap the bottom, this brings up the change from smooth mode to clear mode. As you can see right there, we have a lot more staining on the screen now, but this gives it the ability to function more snappily and more smoothly. Now you can see here that we have eInk settings, and if you click on smooth mode, you can actually assign what particular app you want to be fast and what particular app you want to be clear. For example, when it comes to my AIM app, cam card, or global data, I set that as clear mode, meaning it's going to look the best. But of course I want my videos and audio and web browser on smooth mode, so that when I go there, it automatically adjusts the phone to be either super fast or super slow the way I want it. And you can switch it at any given time down here with the switch if you want. Now, more importantly, we have seen a lot of phones like the Yotaphone, the Sisu R9, and they don't have a backlight on their rear panel, or a front light, we should say. This one does. It's amazing how much they packed into this tiny little thin phone. And it's all metal design too, so it's actually a quite nice looking phone as well. Although the little bumper they give you leaves very little to the imagination, because if you see that the bumper is used to go over the front like the back like that and protect the front, it honestly doesn't protect all that much because of all the ports and screens required to be cut out of this. It doesn't really protect the device a lot, but it does protect the corners, which is the most important thing. You can see I was on a quick timeout there, but that's fine. Every time you go back into this, it always seems to go back to these panels, by the way, so you always have to go to switch to Android, then you will get your regular Android screen. You can change the high contrast text, and you can do black and white mode throughout the whole device. We've covered each of these devices individually in our full individual reviews, but for now we just wanted to show you guys what the differences are between their current lineup, the A5 and the A6. You can keep switching this phone over and over as much as you want, and it's actually kind of a cool, rewarding thing to do. If you do it once, you'll feel it. For example, if I want to switch that over and it goes like that, and I carry on except from a color screen, it's a very nice feeling. And that's kind of the feeling we had on the Sisu Dark Moon, but that didn't have a glow light on the eInk side. So although that phone had potential, this thing is a lot more realistically everyday usable. You could use this phone constantly on the back panel alone, and it works 100%. You can read your manga, you can read your books, or you can use it as a regular smartphone. Then you can even watch videos. It has the capability of doing that because of the speed modes on here. But if you really wanted to step it up and said, you know what, eInk's awesome, and I'm not getting the full frames per second I want, flip it over and you get a regular smartphone. So it's a good all-in-one device. But this is just showing you how a dual screen phone compares to a dedicated eInk smartphone. Again, if you guys want to see how the multimedia experience and the PDF experience and the book experiences are, we're not going to put them head to head because we have individual reviews of both of these, and they're both running pretty much the same screen. You'll just see the same thing on this video, so we're not going to cover that now. Watch the videos on both of these, make a decision from there. I personally, if you ask me, think that the eInk is great, but it's really, really nice to have that very familiar LCD LED panel. I honestly really love eInk. I think it's come a long way, but being bound by it with everything you do, having no color, always worrying about dropped frames, always worrying about which mode to select, it can get a little taxing. Although it does have tremendous battery life, I do like having that second screen on the back or the front, depending depending on how you look at it. For a comparison between the Hisense A5 and the A6, this is Peter.